I have been very happy and excited that BLACKPINK have been able to share their musical talents outside of YG. However, I do like some of this music endeavors more than the others, and unfortunately, I will be comparing them today, so if you don't like that, please do click off. If you get sensitive about opinions, and especially around BLACKPINK, please leave. I do not want to deal with any hate. So I have been hoping for BLACKPINK to really dive into solo music careers for years, and not in the same way they've been doing in YG, but actually having creative control over their music. So you can imagine how excited I was to see that each member had released music independently from their group associations and from the YG label. With that being said, I do think it's interesting to compare not only how the girls decided to diverge musically, and how it was always pretty clear what their genre and style has been for years individually, which had to be suppressed to fit into the homogenized image of BLACKPINK, YG, and K-pop. And also because I am human, I have biases and I have preferences, and that definitely influences my enjoyment of music and on which member I feel did a better job. I also want to talk about my opinions on their re-debuts as a whole, not only on the music. So how good their performances are, or their choices that their team has made that I think are good and that I think are bad. As someone who has no experience in the industry, but just as someone who likes to yap and has been following this group since their debut. So let's get into it in order of my least favorite to my favorite re-debut. Let's get into it. Someone had to be last, and unfortunately for me, it is Jisoo. The music she has released does not interest me in either a positive or negative way. It simply just exists to me. And while I do think it suits her and the songs are nice, I just can't see myself going back to listen or to watch the videos. I really liked Earthquake. I thought it was a good song. I really liked the chorus. I think it's fun and it's interesting. However, the post-chorus, which is just empty da-da-das, is really boring and makes the song lose momentum and my interest. The music video is fine. She has that dark office siren look. I think she's continuing with the elegant look that she was known for in BLACKPINK. A lot of blacks, whites, and purples. There's just not much to say about her re-debut. It's not the big departure from what she was doing in YG, except I do like the music better than Flower. I will say I thought I was going to dislike her solo more because I've always struggled with Jisoo's vocal tone. It isn't my favorite. And I thought in BLACKPINK, where she was singing along and aside other voices, it was able to blend well. So my dislike for her particular vocal tone didn't really matter. And when I say dislike, I don't mean I hate it. It's just not my favorite. So it's fine. Her vocal tone is fine. However, without the other voices to balance out hers, I thought I was going to dislike these songs more. However, I do think the song suits her voice really well and makes her sound really good. My only issue is that these songs are really inoffensive but also unmemorable. Like if someone played it on their phone, I would enjoy it and maybe even sing along, but I wouldn't ask for the song or play it myself. I also find some of the production really outdated. I keep thinking back that this would have worked really well in 2016 or 2017, but in 2025, it doesn't have the same appeal for me. And I think this is just a personal taste thing, where she's not making songs for me. She's making songs for somebody, and I can appreciate that. So my favorite track is Earthquake, and my least favorite might be Your Love. The songs kind of blend together for me, so it's hard to choose a least favorite song, since they all kind of rank the same to me, except for Earthquake, which I do like better than the others. For promotion, I'm not surprised she decided to stay within the Korean music industry. Her songs have a greater appeal nationally than internationally. I also think her popularity is greater nationally than internationally. I also think it's cool that her team is expanding to acting. I think she's good at her dramas that she's been in, what I've seen, and it's also cool to diversify your talent. So yeah, really excited to see what Jisoo does in the future. Second to last is Lisa. I did not enjoy most of Lisa's album. And you might be saying, why isn't she last place if I find more faults in Lisa's re-debut? And that is simply because her debut interests me much more. Also, the songs that I do like from Lisa, I like a lot more than what Jisoo has put out. Which you could argue Lisa has released much more than Jisoo, so the chances she would release something I like are higher than Jisoo's. And yeah, that's probably the reason, but I have to give Lisa the flowers for the songs I do like from her. I was most skeptical of Lisa since she had my least favorite solo career from BLACKPINK, and her fandom rewarded these songs that I do not like at all with awards and views and a lot of money, so I assumed she was going to release the same type of music that is clearly successful. And while she has released a lot of songs that are similar to Money and La Lisa, I do think the quality of music is better. However, Lisa has also been the most disappointing because I defended Rockstar, and I thought it was really good at showcasing what type of artist Lisa is and wants to be a performer first. I also really enjoyed New Woman, with these two releases really hyping me up for Lisa's debut album. The album is ambitious, and that's probably its biggest downside. It's 5 alter egos, without no clear distinction between one another. It is hard to distinguish which song is for which persona. It's not 2, it's not 3, it's not 4, 5 personas, and they all sound the same or very similar. I feel like she should have stuck with 2 or 3 if she really needed more than 2. My favorite song is New Woman, and for least favorite song, I might have to choose 2 because I really don't like either Rapunzel or Elastigirl. Overall, it's a very messy album. Every critique people have said about it, I have to agree with. It's just not that great. I will say I didn't like Fuck Up the World until I saw her in Coachella. Well, I didn't see her personally or live. I saw video recordings because I had exams during Coachella, and also I don't live in the United States. And once I saw the recorded performance, it made sense. Lisa is a performer first, not a singer, not a rapper, a performer. And songs like Fuck Up the World are perfect for her. They allow her to exercise her biggest strength and make her a joy to watch on stage. Lisa is the strongest performer of BLACKPINK, and I feel like she needs to capitalize that more. I think her team is doing a really good job at giving her so many appearances. That's how you become a fan of Lisa, is by watching her on stage. She quite literally is someone who is meant to be on stage, a born star, and she trained hard to be this good. And I don't want to take away from that by saying it's all talent. There's got to be some innate talent for her to capture the audience the way she does. And that's why I think the only misstep her team did was the underwhelming VMAs performance. I know a lot of her fans said she did not need to do a show-stopping performance there. She's bigger than the VMAs, it's a show only Americans know, and I think that's a stupid take. There are artists who are bigger than her, who take it very seriously and who aren't American, like Shakira. She takes advantage of any stage she is put on, and she gave one of the most memorable performances on the VMAs. I'm not saying Lisa is on the same level as Shakira. It'll take a lot for Lisa to get there. Not impossible, but she's just not there yet, and I think most people can agree with that. Just to say that Lisa is not too big for the VMAs, and the VMAs are known even I, who am not an American, I know that the VMAs are known for big performances. And her team should have done more to make sure that this new audience who are being reintroduced to Lisa as a soloist got a good image of her and her style as a performer. So Rosé is my bias, and I'm pretty sure that plays into why she's in the top half of the ranking, but I also think she has had one of the better redebuts of the Pinks. It's not just because I'm biased, but I will admit that I'm not immune to bias. And I think many would agree with this take that Rosé had a very good redebut. I'm glad she got to express her music style so freely, especially as being her fan. I've seen her tap into this genre and style with her covers and lives, so this is a full circle moment. Rosé's biggest strength is her vulnerability and honesty. Many people resonated with her music, much like her very obvious inspirations. I think if I said Rosé was influenced by the likes of Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo, that wouldn't be something I'd get much pushback for saying, or people disagreeing. It's great soft pop music that is focused on the songwriting aspect. If you don't like the genre or these types of artists, yeah, you're probably not going to like this album. But for those who really enjoy this type of music, this will fulfill that want and that itch for music like this. Rosé has done a good job at emphasizing her skills as a songwriter, because while I do enjoy her vocal tone and her voice is the reason why she is my bias in BLACKPINK, I know she does not have the strongest voice in the music industry. I think that if that was what they focused on, she would not be as successful as she is right now, as there is no shortage of great vocalists in the international stage and the American industry. However, by marketing her relatability and her unique individual experiences provides audience with something they can't get from anyone else. While yes, the experiences are relatable, no one is going to voice them the same way she does. So why is this not my top re-debut? Is simply because this isn't the genre of music I typically go for. It's not my style, and while I appreciate it and enjoy a lot of what she has released, it's not my go-to type of music. And frankly, I think Jennie, who by now everyone knows is the first because who else would it be, had a more interesting album. Rosé's commitment to this style of music is a double-edged sword. There is this honesty and authenticity due to Rosé's genuine appreciation of the genre. However, this full embrace can also deter people who do not like this style of music, which isn't entirely a bad thing. Weeding out people who aren't going to like your music no matter what is better than trying to please everyone by embracing the genre that don't feel authentic to you. Because then you alienate your fans who can tell that this is not a genuine expression of your artistic sensibilities. My favorite song is A Bit because this was released on my birthday, a sweet little birthday present for me. But in all honesty, I also actually really like Number One Girl. I like this ballad. For my least favorite song in the album, it's probably Drinks or Coffee. I don't feel much affection for the song. I think she's done a good job at making a distinct and recognizable voice for her writing. It makes her albums really cohesive. Every song matches each other and flows from one another really well, with maybe sounding a bit similar to one another being a slight fault with some of them. But as she continues to write her music, she's going to get better, obviously. I do think her team might want to focus on tuning her singing abilities because she does have a beautiful voice, and also the Western audience is more critical and unforgiving of vocal mistakes. So definitely to avoid negative backlash, but also just to improve performance quality. That would be my only critique. This is a very good album. I enjoyed most of it, if not all of it. It's just really that good. I find myself listening to the music constantly. As each re-listen, I find myself finding new favorites. Again, after her pre-releases Mantra and Zen, I had high hopes for this album. And unlike Lisa's alter ego, this album not only met those expectations, but exceeded them. Jennie has a very clear and owned identity as an artist that is so evident not only in her music, but also the visuals of the album. Everything is just so well crafted. It does not feel like someone who is new to solo work, but instead feels like someone who has thought very deeply what type of artist they want to be, and for this to be her first album is pretty impressive. Also, the fact that she jumps from different sounds and genres, with each song being very unique from one another, but because her artistic vision is so strong, there's still this cohesiveness from the album, which is remarkable. I'm sorry if I'm hyping this album so much, but I really think it's a great album. There's very little I can say negatively about it. I will say sometimes the lyrics, if I have to critique it, can fall flat for me. Also, there's a punchiness in the way Jennie raps that isn't my favorite, but regardless of these minor issues I have, not even really issues, they don't stop me from enjoying the songs, but just some critiques I have. My favorite songs, because I can't choose one, is probably Love Hangover and Twin, and my least favorite being Filter, as I don't really care for this song. For Jennie's career as a solo artist and out of YG, she is still facing the same critiques of being a lazy performer. And while I didn't have a problem with the performances I did see, I think for the most part she did well. Yes, she was out of breath and looked tired at Coachella, but it's also her first time performing as only a solo artist. Yes, she was a solo artist, but she was performing as a solo artist within BLACKPINK, where she would sing her songs and then go back to performing as a quartet. I think it's to be expected that she's not going to be the greatest. And you can compare her to Lisa, who has a better stamina and was performing better in terms of breath control, and that's fair. You can compare them. Like, Jennie has spoken about her struggles in performing for long periods of time, and she's still figuring things out. And she probably still has a lot more to figure out with what kind of performer she's going to be without having the 3 other girls to share the pressure on stage with. So while yes, she is not new to performing, she is new to performing completely as a solo artist. So there's going to be some growing pains. Do I think she should have started smaller? Probably. I think there would be less criticism if she took things slow, but also her star power and fame probably prevents her from starting small to big. Regardless, I think it was fine. It could be better, and I do think she should focus on increasing her stamina, improving her performance ability, or maybe reducing how much energy she's expected to put in all her songs, which she probably is already taking note since a lot of you have been very, very vocal about her performance abilities. But overall, she has had my favorite re-debut of all the BLACKPINK girls. So these are my thoughts on the solo careers of the girls. So far, I'm very excited to see how far they go and what they will do in the future. While I may have not liked everything, I will continue to see what they're doing as I'm interested and wish to see what type of artists they're becoming outside of the confines of K-pop and especially outside of the YG basement. Let me know if you agree or disagree and continue the conversation below in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it and also subscribe if you would like to.